Hello, Capricorn, person of interest. Welcome to the Black-Hearted Oracle. Now, this is part 2 of the Capricorns Where Do We Stand reading. But before we get started, I'd like to pay homage and reverence to Mother Sustainer, Father Creator, and of course, my beautiful ancestors. Now, this reading is from the perspective of Capricorn's person of interest or partner. So what you see laid before you is the opening guidance, and you should keep this in mind throughout the whole reading so it can tie in at the end. Okay, we have playful, we have sisterhood, friendship, allies, compatible souls, loyalty, joy, and delight. Then we have vanity, and we have cross and 26 book, and cross is 36. Okay, so what this is saying is try to remain playful, seek your soul tribe, and stay away from this vanity, because it seems like someone in this relationship has gotten lost in the vanity and is being clouded by the fog. And it's caused so much burdens that a change is absolutely necessary, because as you can see that this is 36 and this is 26, so the difference between that is 10. So that means that it's time for a new beginning. But what you're going to gain out of this situation is the wisdom. But don't get so bogged down in the lesson that you forget how to play and you isolate yourself or keep yourself away from people who can actually help you transition. Now, the first question that I asked is how Capricorn's P.O.I. sees themselves. Oh, that's beautiful. We have the angel of love, we have the wave of power, we have joy, and we have death. Okay, so Capricorn, your P.O.I. is at a state of transformation within themselves. They're turning inward, and they're coming into a lot of self-care and self-love. And due to this, they've been an upswing of power within them. They've been such exhilarated movements, and they've come into this true birthright of their joy. And the lesson for them was to cut out whatever was not serving them, and to gain the wisdom from this of learning that transformation is not a bad thing, because the scarab beetles are here. And Anubis is holding the Ankh of everlasting life. So it's telling you that even though a cycle has come to an end, there's still a new life here. And within this death of the rest, what happened is in this time of rest, this person is gaining back their strength. They're gaining back their power, and they're gaining back their joy. Now, this is how your P.O.I. sees you. And appreciation. Lumera returns. Farewell to the moon. Appreciate and enjoy the lunar light and cycles. Then we have isolation and acceptance. We have mice and magnifying glass, and then we have time in reverse. So Capricorn, it seems as though they have appreciated what this relationship has brought them to, or the lessons, or just the time they have spent with you. They've learned to appreciate the cycles that you guys have been going through, and realizing that it is meant to bring them to a point of, bring you to a point of spirituality. Because they see you as a person who's now isolating yourself because you've accepted the fact that the person you were with just wasn't, the connection wasn't there. Because this speaks of a woman whose boyfriend is always cheating on them and always, making them feel inadequate or less than, or feeling like they weren't good enough. But the ancestors came to them and let them know that, no, you are good enough. You're not a pie with a piece missing. You are a heart-shaped pie. But it's saying within that acceptance, if you look at her face, she's a bit somber, right? And I'm not speaking male and female. This is just the pictures on the cards and the energies I'm speaking about. So she looks a bit somber. So it's telling you that your P.O.I. is seeing you as someone who's isolating yourself because you are a bit hurt. But the lesson that you're meant to take away from this is to not waste your time on things that will come to naught. Because mice, they come into things and nothing can ever remain good when mice are present within it. They bring destruction, they bring disease. So it's like if a mice is there, then there's no need for you to see what can come out of this. Because it's a divinely guided time for change. And you have to take a closer look at your stability. Because right now you're in this cycle of just looking, but it's a lot of time being wasted. And this is a 10, so this is a time for a change. So it's saying don't let your time being wasted on feeling less than and isolating yourself. And that's how they're viewing you, is that you're no longer willing to waste your time with something that will only bring destruction. And you've learned to appreciate the lessons of this. And you've learned to appreciate the cycles that you had with this person. And that's how they see you. But Capricorn, please do not get caught up in isolating yourself from the world due to heartache. Okay. This is how they see the relationship. And they see the sun. Ooh. Financial constraints. The world. Secrecy. Perception. And the Tower in reverse. Let me just 1 second, let's see. Okay, so how they're seeing the relationship is that there's a lot of good in it. There's a lot of healing because the lotus is here. There's a lot of happiness because the sun is like the happiest card in the decks, right? And it's saying like there's a lot of love. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of emotional contentment here. There's growth. There's wisdom. There's a chance to learn in this relationship. There's newness. There's fertility in this relationship. But what there is in this relationship as well is within the stability of this relationship, there's a lot of financial constraints. So there's a lot of difficulties, right? And this again, with the lotus flowers floating on the pond, with the world, the world is like a new cycle coming in. So they're looking for a new cycle of healing, a new cycle of coming out of the muck that the lotus represents, because the lotus represents coming out of the muck and still remain untainted, right? And they're looking that there should be no more secrecies, like everything is out in the open in this relationship, and that there needs to be a change of perception though, because there's a lot of instability here within this relationship. Because the Tower here is something lasting. It doesn't represent like the Tower of the Tarot. This is something like a castle, like something firm, something that's not going anywhere. But as you can see, the person has changed their perception and turned their back on this unstable foundation. Because again, this is 19, which represents a 10. So the 10 represents a change of cycles, a beginning and an end and a beginning. So, and the world represents that too. So they're seeing that this relationship, it needs to either die or go through a transformation. But the transformation that needs to happen, most of all, is the perception. And maybe someone in this relationship is perceiving that there's a lot of secrecy and wary and caution to be had. But a transformation needs to be happen with that, because really and truly, the relationship is the sun. And if somebody could just see that there's no more trickery, and again with the lotus, so you see how many times that the lotus is represented with how they see this relationship. So it's been to a lower level in this relationship. This relationship has gone to some very dark places. But out of that is the beauty that forms the lotus. You know, out of that is where we get the wisdom. Out of that is where we get the strength. Out of that is what builds us. And I'm not telling you that if you're in a relationship that is eating your soul, that is physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually abusive, that you should stay. I do not promote any of those type of things. And I do not tell people to stay in relationships, to stay or go. That is not my call. You know where you stand in your relationships. I'm just telling you from the cards perspective, is that really what needs to happen is a change of perspective here. Because a cycle wants to start over or to change, right? But perception is what needs to change most of all. Now, this card represents what Capricorn's P.O.I. is expecting, and anxiety in reverse, fertility, facade, the letter, and the mountain. So, as you can see, what this is saying is this person wants to get out of their head. You know, they're looking for new and better. They're looking for creativity. They're looking for newness. They're looking for abundance and just a new beginning. Like, because this is like the Empress, the one who creates. Right? And I'm not quite sure right here about the facade, because this is what they're expecting. So I guess they're expecting more of the same, more of a shell of a relationship, something that looks good on the outside, but really and truly it's not, you know. Let me, I don't normally do this, but let me drop one more on this facade. Why is this facade here? Service. Okay. Mysticism. Okay. So it's saying even if you view this relationship as superficial or surface level, that the service and fate is what counts in this relationship. You know, so this person is looking to get rid of anxiety, to step out into something more fruitful and abundance, to move away from this facade into a place of service and faith. And I guess they're going to be sending you like a Dear John letter, right? Because they no longer are willing to climb this mountain. It's been too much for them, you know? It's been too much. And at 3 again, they're looking for new beginnings, just as right here. One that is not filled with facades, one that's not filled with anxiety. Okay, lastly, the outcome. No, not lastly, because then we have closing guidance. Ooh, okay, we have forbidden. Then we have lust. We have belonging. We have victory. We have energy field adjustments, air, insecurity, the dog, and the ring. Wow. The outcome of this is so deep. You know, because this person is so overcome with insecurities that it's forbidding them to belong in this relationship and to find their victory. Right? Because this person is feeling like it's just so overcome with lust. And if you remember in the beginning of the readings when we were dealing with Capricorn, it was telling you that Capricorn had a broken heart, but the person was believing like door to romance, right? So the outcome right now is that the person, the point of interest person or Capricorn, wherever you find yourself, because I could be calling you the person of interest, but you resonate more with that Capricorn, or you represent with Capricorn. However this goes for you. But whoever represents with this right here is feeling like they want to forbid this lust because they really want someplace to belong to, someplace they can find victory in, someplace where there's healing, where there's proper reciprocity of this give and take, where there's no enemy within or without that creates insecurity within this relationship, and there's loyalty and a commitment in this relationship. This person is looking for this. It's so sad because it's like, if you look here, if you like take away all of this right here, it's absolutely beautiful minus this card, right? But you bring it back and it's so sad because it's like this person feels like, I guess, empty. You know, they don't feel like they belong. Like they feel like there's no loyalty, no commitment, and this relationship is riddled with insecurity. And they just want to heal. They just want to belong. They just want to feel connected to another. But the only connection here is lust. And everything else is forbidden. There's no victory here. It's forbidden. There's no belonging here. It's forbidden. Every higher level thing is forbidden. Only the lower level energies are here. But the lesson out of this is to be careful who you're loyal and committed to. You know, don't hand someone the leash to put around your neck and you know that they're only going to create insecurity within you. So just be careful who you're committing to, whether this is for Capricorn or Capricorn's person of interest. But I mean, when I laid out these cards, oh my goodness, I can't even tell you how my heart chakra just sank. It was terrible. Anywho, you have two messages as well. And the first one is strength, number 27. It says the person who upsets you the most in your life is one of your best teachers. If that person can get inside your head, turn you around and confuse you, you know that you still don't understand what you are doing. You need more strength. Learn by seeing that your life is a teaching. Like the red lotus healing its pain in inner solitude, gain strength from entering your wounds and learning from them. The magician remembers the trail and takes a different one. Yeah. Even if it is more difficult. In this way, you create your own path as you build strength from it. Wow. That's so poignant because, I mean, this person, they seem like they're in need of so much healing. You know, and even, I don't know this card, but even before I begin to read this is the eagle. And the eagle flies alone so it can soar to higher levels to see the bigger picture. And I mean, just to point out that the lotus is here again, right? And it symbolized red with symbolized passion. So this person is healing from all this passion that has no depth. It's just circle level. And remember that with the Capricorn reading, you had the Buddha at the center of the chaos. So this person, so Capricorn is in the midst of this nonsense, and this person, their person of interest has retreated. The person of interest has retreated to heal because they're wanting a new cycle to begin for themselves. Okay, sorry. 37, illumination. It says, as darkness comes, the mirrors of your spirit reflect different images. It is the time when the world changes and you begin, let's start over. As darkness comes, the mirrors of your spirit reflect different images. It is the time when the world changes and you begin, and your being begins to glow. Reflect on the new vision that has been living on the perimeter of your consciousness. Has been living on the perimeter of your consciousness. An idea is stalking you and awaits your invitation, a place within you to begin life. The totality of your creativity comes after you have begun your work on this sacred painting of your life. It is then that the muse of inspiration surrounds you like eagles and cheers you on to illumination. Take responsibility for your work and your life, and illumination will follow. Like, I couldn't see a more perfect ending and guidance for your reading, P.O.I. Okay? Because it's telling you that now that you've come to a point where you're, okay, hearts are broken. The relationship has come to a point where you guys are pretty much dead in the water, but no one is like a slow fade then. You know, no one has decided to say, okay, it's over, but everyone knows it's over. So it said, instead of sitting there focusing on that, while you're in your healing, remember that you are to do your work so that you can soar as this eagle. Now, I wish you much healing because I feel it's so necessary. But I pray these messages found you well, and I hope that you found your higher self in the quiet places, and may Ma'at hold you in her love and grace. Ashe.